Hello again. This is another episode of Relationship Wednesday, and we are coming to you with God in Motherhood. And again, we have Sister, I'm going to say Dana, because I call you Dana, Robin Bryant, and Tasha Powell, Tasha Pryor. I'm just getting our names all mixed up.
That's still my name.
I know, it's still you. So, we're going to go from where we left off. We were talking about basically, the different things that maybe the kids, I was talking about mine in particular, going out and doing certain things and how you handle that in a godly fashion. So, but overall, all of us have agreed that we all have really, really good kids.
Yeah, we've been blessed.
Yeah, we've been blessed. I have literally no complaints. And when I tell people this, because sometimes people know they got bad kids, and they're like, "Oh, not my child."
Yeah,
absolutely. I honestly, if my children were bad, I would say so.
Yeah.
And it's like I really, my kids are good.
Yeah.
Minor things here and there, but nothing over the top.
Like you said, we're not perfect ourselves.
Yeah, we're not perfect. And
Exactly.
Sometimes I wonder, because I know some of the stuff, because I didn't grow up saved, or in a saved household, but I wasn't a bad child though.
Yeah.
I was still good. I had, morals and all that thing, but still it was like I liked, growing up I liked to party and dance and do that. So I, of course, automatically assumed my kids were going to want to do these things, and I find myself like, you don't want to go to the school dance,
Right,
you don't want to go to your prom,
Exactly.
they just don't want to. And actually today, the way things are, I guess I should be happy, because you hear so many horror stories out there. We'll go come to you. So what's some things, that maybe they tested the waters with you, and how did you handle it?
Okay. First, it had to be after they have gotten of age.
Yes.
Because prior to that, in the previous session, like my sister here, Tasha, was explaining, she was strict. Even though my children were in a two-family household, I believe I was the more strict one, because it was like I wanted them right where I could, put my hands on them, see them, and all of that. So their friends, they had to always come over to my place, unless we were in an environment they didn't do overnights. Their friends came. So then as time went on and they developed of some age and they could do things on their own, my children would go out. They go to the little clubs or the little parties or whatever, and of course, they might have some drinks or something like that. Never came home where they were drunk. I didn't have issues with them having to, be picked up by the police or anything. So in that respect, I say truly have been blessed. As far as like testing the waters is like the time, like my curfew. You live under my household, you have to be in the house at a certain time. So occasionally they would test the waters by not call. Well, you had to call and let me know you were going to be late. I was the more, as I said before, I'm the more strict one. My husband, of course, gave more leeway. My time, you had to be in the house by 11 o'clock. And he, of course, they're older now, but I'm like, so they had more grace, but then sometimes they would go past that little bit of grace time, wouldn't get a call, and see, I don't sleep, so I'm looking and I'm peeping. So in that respect, they would test the waters, but nothing major, nothing major.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, I agree with Dana. It was nothing major, even though I was strict, because they knew. They was like, Mama not gonna let me do this. If I do this, my mother gonna find out. If I say something, she'll know. They just knew their mother. So I didn't have anything to really say, oh, well, you shouldn't have did that, but the one that when I was talking about when Javante wrecked the car. But other than that, I don't believe he did anything else. Now, Tamara, like I said, she was a homebody and she didn't really do too much. But when she got, I think she was 19, she called herself leaving the house. I said, she left the house without me even knowing though.
Okay.
She packed all her things. I'm trying to figure out, okay, so what's going on here? So where is she? So I think she was at my sister's. Then she went to my mother's. And she was like, well, mommy's making me pay this and pay. I was like, wait a minute. You're not paying the mortgage or the rent. You're just paying maybe a light bill or car insurance or something like that. When I finally figured out where she went, I think she did go to my sister's house, and then she ended up at my mother's house. And she's never been back home. And people are saying, well, aren't you glad that your kids didn't ever come home after college or after leaving? I was like, not really. I really love my kids, and I was close with my kids. But they've never, either one of them, Juante has never come back. And so I think I was either 38 or 40 when my kids left and never came back. So I've really been on my own or either married, divorced when I was like 40.
Okay.
So I've never had really any issues.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I now this part I can't speak on, but both of y'all have grandkids. So how is being a grandmother, and are you trying to instill godly principles in them, or are you leaving that to your kids, their parents to do that, or do you, what do you do? I mean, are you a little bit more lenient because you're, I always hear, the grandparents are more lenient, on their grandkids versus how they were to your kids. So since both of you all were saying, y'all were strict parents, how are you as grandparents?
Strict.
Well,
Strict too?
my daughter says that she feels that we're little bit, have more grace, because she said, well, I couldn't do this, but I guess I could kind of say yes. And I don't really get to see her that often because she lives further out, Spotsylvania. So, we do kind of spoil her. But I mean, God is instilled, from our point of view, and my daughter's sake too. So the way that I taught her, she's, she runs her household the same way. So
Okay.
I praise God for that.
So that makes it easy.
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
Not doing anything different.
No.
So yeah, I'm not looking at doing that anytime soon. Let the kids finish school and then they can, do that. But yeah. So as far as them walking this walk, I can see things, how we instilled stuff in our children that, little glimpses of it, them coming back. So it's like, I know, they're saved. I know that it's in there. But yes, they still want to see what it's like, especially since the two older ones are in college. They want to see what it's like to be, but they know not to, they're good. They don't, like you said, they're not getting high and all of that, craziness. They're not, and I feel like a lot of that was because we have instilled a lot of that stuff, and and Jaden being at home with us, he's asking a lot of questions as far as God, and he's watching a lot of the TikToks and all this stuff about the different there's some street preachers is out there, and he'll watch that and be like, Ma, you hear how these people who's not saved, this is how they believe it. I mean, it's funny, it's nice listening to it, because he's really really starting to grow in the things of God, where even with the friends, there's certain things that he may have done with the friends or whatever, that he's like, yeah, that's not right, and I'm trying, how do I tell them I shouldn't be doing X, Y, Z or whatever, and I'm just like, you just have to live it. Live. So I feel like because we might not, have them learning all the Bible scriptures and all this thing, but we do our best to live it. Yeah, to live it in front of them. We be open and honest. We let them know, if you see us, they ask us a question. That's the other thing. If they ask us a question, we try not to make sure, especially if it's something that's off the wall, if they tell us they did something, we don't want to blow up, because as soon as you blow up, they never come to you again to tell you anything. Right. So that's how I felt like with the whole Wayne Jr. thing. It's like I was heated, but when he finally called and said, I'm fine, and such and such and such, it actually became a joke because he was there for a few more days in New York. Then he would call me and be like, I'm still alive, I'm here, you know. So, but at least, you know, and I told him, I just helped him know, I'm not trying to, you know, keep tabs on you. I just need to know that you're safe.
Right.
That's literally all I want. So, you know, and I don't care how old you get. You can be 100 years old. If I'm here on this earth, I'm still going to expect you to let me know you're safe. If you're going, that's it. I'm not trying to keep tabs. Just that you're safe, and that's my whole thing. But so I think they understand that. I'm not trying to stop your fun. You're in college. I want you to enjoy college.
Right.
I want you to have friends. I want you, you know, but just, you know, keep it, keep it safe. So, anything else you have about in your kids or grandkids?
Well, the grandkids, I believe, are just like their mother.
Okay.
They're quiet.
Yes. Don't say much.
Don't say much. They don't want to really be out there doing a whole bunch of things. They know, because in Tamara's and, well, Randy, her husband's, and Tamara's household, they're, I wouldn't say strict, but a lot of things they can't do because of their father, and he's like, no. So I believe that I don't have to be strict. I believe I'm strict when it comes to them, but I don't have to be strict because they know right from wrong, and they're also good kids. But I think the boys, you mainly have to watch them when you have grandkids, because they have a tendency to just do whatever. It's like,
yeah, boys are different.
you know.
Definitely different.
So as I have one now, I really watch him, and I'm like looking and I'm talking to him, and even though he's 4, but I believe if you talk to them when they're young,
Oh yeah.
that's a good thing too. And they know that they can come to you, and you know, any questions or whatever, or if they want to talk to you, like he used to want to talk to me when he was 2 or 3. Tamara would FaceTime me, and he, hi T-Ma. I said, hi Randy, and he's like, and Tamara was like, he just wanted to talk
That's all
to
you
you
wanted.
and see you. And I was like, oh, okay, good. So I believe my grands are gonna be good when they grow up.
I'm
Yeah.
sure they would.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I'm going to step onto you, Robin, because you know you have a daughter that's a police officer.
Yes, yes.
So I'm sure you stay in prayer and faith, you know, because you know I have a brother who's a police officer, and I remember the dynamics of my brother and my mom when she was still here. My brother, when because he worked night shifts, he would always, you know, call my mother when he was on his way home, and you know he knew that was just because my mother was definitely a worry now. I'm stepping out of that, and I'm speaking my faith that I'm not, but I know I'm a lot like my mom. But yes, so as far as that, he would call her, you know, 7 o'clock in the morning, let her know that, you know, I'm on my way home, I'm good. So that just, you know, so what do? You know, how do you handle your daughter being a police officer?
Initially, I mean, of course, there was anxieties and worries and things of that sort. But I knew that was, you know, that was her dream, so I supported her. You know, I encouraged her, and then I just asked God to help me with my anxiety, and talked to my husband as well, and just, you know, covered her in prayer, and just, you know, like was one of her biggest support systems. And as she graduated and became that police officer, she started in the city of Bowie, which rested my heart because not much going. I mean, you have stuff, but it's more. Yeah, it's more. You know, your low class, low key kind of crime or whatever. So I felt real comfortable with that. And my only thing was like when she had to work the night shifts or something, because it's like from 6 at night to 6 in the morning. That's just a long stretch, you know. So, and being an officer, after you finish your field training, you drive by yourself. So. Yeah, so I was like, you know, she would go on her beats by herself. If something came up, you know, the other officers would respond.
So they don't have partners, you know, like on TV, you always see them with a partner.
No, she has her. She had her own cruiser. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I guess your partner per se, they're in that same beat with you. So when a call goes off, then they show up. Yeah, they come. You know, depending on what. At least it's 2.
Okay.
So. You know, it was a little nerve-wracking for me. Then when I heard her make her first arrest and everything, and then, you know, she practiced on me, you know, I got a little comfortable and, you know, all with that.
Yeah, she knows what she's doing.
Yeah, she knows what she's doing. So, you know, that it was pretty cool, and I got to hear the story. She got tired of me because I'm like, oh, what happened this time? Tell me about it. Getting all the, I want all the details.
Yes.
So I felt pretty comfortable and confident, and then she transferred to PG Cop. So actually, she's in her field training as an experienced officer, but with that one, you have to ride with your FTO for 3 months. So she doesn't have her own cruiser yet, so she's doing that. But then still, the anxieties, arose again. And I know in everything in God, we have to put our trust. So I would definitely keep her covered in prayer, because the beat that she has now, and the wider spectrum of PG is kind of rough. She's at, she's at a line. So it's like the DC line and the PG. So it's like Seat Pleasant, Capitol Heights, that whole rough side. So it just, had me kind of a little bit on edge with that. But in everything, I just have to, trust God and just know that He wouldn't have her in something that she would not be able to handle. Right. Yes. So it's quite exciting, but I believe God, and His angels keep her protected, and she knows how to handle herself. So I thank God for that.
Yeah, especially after showing you.
Yeah.
So how did you handle when I know that Juante, when he went away to college, this was your baby boy, and so were you comfortable with that he's away from home now, and was there any anxiety about it, or how was it?
No, I wouldn't say there was any anxiety, because he went to Liberty University. I put my trust in God. I was praying that he would go to Liberty, because it was other schools he could have went to. And I was appreciative that he said, okay, well, Mom, I'm going to Liberty. And I was like, okay, good. And they have what you call a convocation, something that you do every morning. You have to go somewhere, and I'm not sure about the dynamics of it, but yeah, something like that. Everybody's praying and, together, which is good. Only thing now is Jawante is a DJ / other things like Uber Eats and all that. And he's on the road constantly. He's like the east side of the state.
Because he lives where now?
He lives in Tennessee.
Tennessee.
He did a gig yesterday in Kentucky. I was like, well, how many miles is that? He said, it's about 2.5, 3 hours. I said, from Tennessee? He said, yeah. Then when he went to Alabama, he said, oh, well, it's about 2.5 hours. I was like, I didn't know he was so close to all these states. But I have to keep in prayer still, though, because, he can have a gig at 9, 10 o'clock, a wedding or an event or a celebration. He's on the road constantly, and I'm just like, Lord, protect my child. I know he's by himself. I know you're with him. The angel came around the vehicle, around him, but you have crazies when after 12 and 1 o'clock in the morning, when he's trying to get back home, or he's going to come up here on Friday, and then he'll be back here again the next weekend. So he's doing a double thing. And he is about 10 to 12 hours from me, so he's on the road. Then he has to go to his gig on Saturday. So it's just like, to me, it's just like, Lord, I thank you for protecting him this far. Because being on that road, and you have to watch everybody on the road, and he doesn't know where he's going. Half the time you got to use the GPS. And I just thank God that he's still, safe and nothing has happened to him.
Yeah, I know one thing that I have to do is I can't watch the news. I can't watch certain movies, because if I'm watching things like Taken, or just the other day, one of my nieces said something to me about how she was pulled over. They call it driving while black, and I'm just like, yeah, that's the thing. So it's like if I listen to this kind of stuff, then I'll be always on edge, thinking, okay, I have a black son, they
infiltrate your spirit.
Yeah, and I'm all so I can't listen to certain negativity. I can't listen or watch certain movies, because my mind will go there, and then what you focus on will happen. That you bring what you focus. So I have to keep my mind stayed on the things of God and believed my words and believed that what I'm speaking and I'm speaking all this stuff, the angels around my kids. I have to, because I would be a basket case listening to all the stuff that's going on out there. But that's how I keep myself, I'm still working on, not worrying and all that. But as soon as I do, I thank God for my husband, because he definitely he helps me through, seeing the positive and always speaking the positive and focusing on, positive things and the things of God and everything. I wanted to, if you can give us like 5 more minutes, I just wanted to ask y'all, what kind of, things do you do to keep your mind from straying and thinking of the worst and the negative things, and what do you all do?
Well, I talk to my husband. Ultimately, I talk to God, and because I know that he who keeps his mind stayed on Jesus, he'll keep him in perfect peace. Mm-hmm. So I try to not think of what is negative. When it comes to me, I do, I force it out, and because I do know you give entertainment to the thought, it will become a reality. Mm-hmm. Yes. So I quickly do try to, push that out the door, and I guess just have to force myself to have faith, because I don't want to see any adversity come. Mm-hmm. And the enemy is going to come. Okay. He comes and he'll rush in like a flood, but you got to raise up that standard and say, no, God has told me this. I'm gonna stand on your word, and it will come to pass. You have to deeply believe it. You can't just say it. So
definitely.
Yeah. So that's basically what I do. The challenges do come. I won't even tell a lie, but I force them out, and then if I feel like I'm having that challenge, I thank God for a companion, because we strengthen one another. Yes. Iron sharpens iron. So when I have a challenge and I feel like I can't shake it, of course, like I said, I go to God, but then sometimes you still have that struggle. You may still have that challenge. Mm-hmm. I can go to my husband, and we work through it together, and God always comes out on top.
Oh yeah, definitely. How about yourself? Anything to add to that?
Yeah, thank God for husbands.
Yes.
Yes.
But thank God for family too.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Moms and sisters and brothers. And my family's always been in the ministry, so I don't really gear towards negative. And I say I've been in the Word or the Bible for a long period of time, and I don't really think negative. But when I have my children, like I said, Juwante on the road, and I know Tamara's a stay-home mom, so her husband, I also have to pray for her husband, because he's always on the road. So I think basically, like what you said, Dana, you have to know that God is there at the forefront of everything that's happening, that's going on. And like Michelle said, I don't watch the news either. And I'm a type of person now, since I'm in my 50s, I am all about the prophets, what's going on out here, the ministers, and some of them, like we grew up with, I don't listen to anymore, because they brought me where I am now. But I need something to take me even further, because I don't have a husband to talk to, but God is my husband. So I talk to God. Amen. And like I said, I talk to my family members, my friends. Mm-hmm. And I've been in the household by myself since I was in my 40s. So I don't really have a lot of I'm thinking negative. I have to always be positive, because I don't want to even ever go there. Like,
Oh yeah.
I don't ever want to go there. So I thank God for just a family full of the Word and prayer, and we're able to come with each other and talk and listen, because some people don't listen. But yeah, listen and give feedback, and sometimes we can't give feedback. We just listen. Like what I do with my kids, but I thank God that my kids have their own husband and their husband and wife, their spouses. Mm-hmm. So that gave a little bit leeway that I needed back up. Because now they have somebody who,
basically you did your job.
Yeah, they can come together with.
You did your job, and they're doing, now it's their turn to do their job. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, well, we're gonna wrap it up now. End it right there. I really enjoyed speaking to both of you.
Likewise.
Thank you.
Hopefully, anybody out there that could have learned or got some wisdom out of this, you know, I will be speaking to two other ladies in the next 2 sessions, and so look forward to that, and see you next time.
Thank you for joining Pastor Wayne Powell Sr. for this edition of Relationship Wednesday. We hope you enjoyed this episode of After I Did. Let's keep the conversation going by leaving your questions and comments in the chat. We also invite you to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And don't forget to click the notification bell so you are reminded to join us next Wednesday as Pastor Wayne continues this discussion of After I Did.